So someone wrote to us and asked about how to keep their bird in the house because they had an Indian ringneck and it flew out the window, and then their little budgie flew out the window. What can you do about that? Do you have any ideas, Ketsy? Hey guys, I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot, Bliss and a few other books, all on Amazon under KB Raphael. This is Ketsy, my white-bellied Kaik, aka earring thief. And that there is Ursulus, my Mexican red-headed Amazon. And coming from over there, you hear the fan to help us stay cool, but sometimes you also hear Henry. That was Henry. If I go like that, that'll be because I heard Henry. And Henry is Emily Amazon. So, I have over 22 species of parrots, and I have lost very few parrots to flying out the window. Now, this person suggested an idea. They thought that maybe if they got a baby parrot when it was 1 week old and fed it, that way it wouldn't fly out the window. The thing is, they're not addressing the problem. Why would a parrot leave its home? Does the age when the parrot came into the home make a difference? Well, it would make a difference if you had caught a wild parrot. But here in the US, we don't have wild parrots anymore because we don't import them. It is now illegal to import them. So if someone is trying to sell you an older parrot that is totally wild, be careful. That might be kind of shady. Basically, if you're getting an older parrot that isn't a baby, you should be buying a parrot that is being rehomed and tamed, or that it is a rescue parrot, something like that. And generally speaking, they shouldn't be super wild. A super wild parrot won't even want to be within 10 feet of you. A tame parrot might not be happy around you if they're tame and a little wild, but they're not going to freak out. So we're talking about parrots that's my Indian ringneck, that are really rather tame in the sense that even if they don't step up and want to hang out with you, there's Henry the Mealy Amazon, they are still accustomed to people. So, why doesn't it make a difference if you get them at a week and feed them then? Because that's not the problem. Do you hear that? That's squawking. That's wild Quakers. How cool is that? I love hearing them and seeing them fly by. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. A family of 8. That's so cool. Okay. Parrots, when they're tame, unlike those Quakers are flying and they're sticking together. It's a small flock. They're probably a family. And they're going to go around together. Now, if one of them gets freaked out and flies off and gets separated from the rest of the pack, they squawk so loud that they can hear each other and they can come back together. Plus, they have a territory that they know. And I see them. I know what trees they live in on this part of their territory. But I also know that they go beyond my view. Their territory is larger than what I can see. So they go further and they have clearly other trees that they go to. And it's kind of like someone who has several homes in the world. So their territory, so to speak, is where their homes are, right? Chances are they are at one of their homes. At least that's the way it is with parrots in the wild. Now, when we've got a parrot in captivity, if something freaks them out, and sometimes they can get scared pretty easily. A big noise, my birds can see another bird out in the wild flying by, and that'll scare them. Or if the gardener comes, and they come like every other week, something like that, when they hear the gardener and all the noise the gardener's making, that scares them. So, or if someone just walks by, because generally speaking, no one walks by out back here. Oh, there's the Quakers again. Do you hear them? So, if they see someone walk by, it scares them. If the window is open, they will go towards the sky. They're going to go towards what looks like it's going to give them the most space to be able to fly, and that's Milo, my Indian ringneck, and hide. They aren't going to go to a little teeny closet because they know that they're going to be cornered. So if your parrot is getting out, chances are something spooked them and they got out. Now I will say though, are you two fighting? They're really best buds. Don't let them fool you. So parrots also have an inclination to want to fly towards the big, beautiful blue sky because that's going to offer the greatest opportunities for food, for a new home, for a nest site, for everything that they need to survive. So if your parrot is looking at the window or going towards the windows, it's not because they don't love you, and it's not because they want to get away from you necessarily. I mean, I don't know, it could be, I don't know what's going on in your home, right? But generally speaking, it's just their programming. It's just their basic instincts telling them how to live their lives. Just like you don't walk towards something that's like dirty and icky, you like to walk towards like a big, beautiful beach and not towards a dark alley that looks all, full of trash, that kind of thing. It's the same thing. They're just walking towards something bigger and more beautiful. So, if you have a parrot and you want to make sure that they don't fly away, you really have to just be super cautious and make sure that your windows and doors are closed. That can be really difficult, I know. We spent a lot of money to have our back lanai, which is like screens. You could see the white and the white tenting, so to speak. It's a frame, a metal frame, and it holds the screens together. My parrots are flighted. See? Ketsie doesn't want to fly away right now. She's like, I want to spend time with you. But my parrots are fully flighted. You saw Henry fly over, but the screen keeps them in. And I only let them be out here when I'm with them. Otherwise, they're in the house. That means they'd have to get past the windows and the screen to make it out. Your parrot might want to get out, and then they think they can make their way back to you. But the problem is, those wild Quakers flying by, the parents teach the kids how to, number one, respond to the call, so that when they're squawking, they learn to squawk back and they learn to find each other. And number two, they teach them what their territory is and how to navigate the territory, how to come back. When people teach their parrot to free fly, they're basically teaching them the same thing. My hat's off to those people because they're not a parrot and they can't squawk, but they still have that ability. And it probably is harder to teach, but as a human, but they're teaching the parrot to learn to navigate and come back. Not an easy thing. So if your parrot hasn't been taught to free fly, then you just have to be really careful. Because in captivity, we don't teach parrots to come back to our call, and we don't teach them to navigate their territory. As a matter of fact, one thing I've noticed is with my parrots, they have their cage, they have a common and play area, but they don't leave those, and when they do, they have to learn to navigate around the house. When they kind of learn some of the layout of the house, then, for example, my Cape parrots can fly to the stairs and fly up to my bedroom on the second floor, and they can fly back down, and they know how to fly to the kitchen, to the counter that's their common space where I have food and water for them, or they can fly over to a cage. They learn that navigation. Same thing out here. This is a small space, a really small space, relative to a parrot who's going to have, a much bigger space. So big that we're not going to be able to hear them throughout the whole space, right? And we're certainly not going to be able to see them. So this is a much smaller space. But they learn where the palm tree is, they learn where the palm nuts are, they learn where the area is over here where I am, and where the house is, and where the window is. And a lot of the time, they'll go back over towards the window. It's like, oh, I want to go back with the flock inside the house. And when we're not out here, like if I run in to go to the bathroom and then come back, they are often at the window going, where did you go? Because they want to be with the flock. So getting a parrot younger at a week is, number one, very difficult because you have to feed that baby like 10 times a day. That means you can't, unless you can take them to work and feed them every 2 to 3 hours, they're not going to survive. Plus, learning how to feed a parrot isn't as easy as it sounds. You you can aspirate them easily. People get trained, and like in pet shops, for example, sometimes they're trained for a year before they're allowed to feed a parrot on their own so that they can successfully feed a parrot. So your plan to start at a week is a very challenging one. You would have to learn to feed a parrot first, and it's not really going to make a difference. Like I said, it doesn't really solve the problem of the parrot trying to fly into something bluer, or when they get freaked out trying to find something safer to fly into. Parrots rely on their flock, and when you're their flock, or you and the other birds you have in your house are their flock, they're relying on you and that flock for their safety and security, for their survival. So please make sure that you're doing whatever you need to do. Maybe put screens on the windows so that your parrot doesn't get out, because some parrots do survive getting out, but generally speaking, that's not really what happens. They don't know how to survive, and parrots in the wild, they know what to look for. Parrots in the wild. Predator birds in the wild know what to look for, and they know when a parrot is domestic and it doesn't really know how to survive, and they're a pretty big target. So unfortunately, generally speaking, when birds fly out the window, they don't survive. So be super careful and work on some other things with your parrot, like keeping them away from those windows or doors. See if you can get a screen or a double entry. Those are the things that are really going to make a big difference and help you keep your parrot safe and sound. If this video helped you out, please be sure to give us one of these and a question or comment. That really helps our juice. And then Ursulus and I will catch you in the next feathered video. Hi! Give me a kiss. Oh, good kiss! Thanks, Ursulus. What happened? What happened? You were on the back with Henry. You want to go back with Henry? And I think something spooked you. You're okay. You're okay. You don't want to go with Henry? That's okay. You don't have to. Here you go. Good boy.